I would like to call to order the regular meeting of November 9th. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody look at Dana's screen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Okay, roll call, please, Lena.
Allen.
Here.
Broughton.
Here.
De Palma. Here. Cordella.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Rumble.
Here.
Thurman.
Here. Did you call Scott?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, at this time we need to approve our agenda, and I'm thinking that it would be better if we addressed the wage schedule before the new hire, just because in the new hire motion it refers to the wage schedule. So we could just take up D before C, swap those two. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
You're to do. You're swapping D with C.
C and D.
Yep.
Cat and dog.
Swapped. Okay.
Swap.
All right.
I'll second Candy's motion.
I have a question also.
Okay. And that's as amended, right, Candy?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on, I have
Sorry,
a question
someone
about
had a
the
question?
agenda.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, me. Okay, we received a letter from a concerned individual. Are we going to address that?
It's not on our agenda, and it's not on our agenda. We could add it to our agenda.
I'd like to add it to the agenda.
Okay, as
And
item.
this is my reasoning.
Is this a discussion item then?
Yes.
You know,
And how do you want to title this item, Bob?
Well, I guess we can fire department personnel issue. But let me say I would normally not want to address a personnel issue in an open meeting. However, this person sent it to the newspaper, and by doing so, they opened it up to the public and not us. And I think this is something that has to be addressed before it gets in the newspaper, and they go off on whatever tangent they want to go off on without us addressing it.
I'd just like to throw out there, Bob and I did speak this afternoon, and the only thing I'd like to clarify is that okay with Dave for us to be talking about this during the meeting? Because if not, you know, even though they say they sent a letter to the paper, I don't think the paper publishes anonymous letters. Shelby,
I see that Dave. Sorry, I see that Chief Quapis is here, and maybe he would like to speak to your question, Scott.
Hi,
Chief.
Dana has her hand up, and I know that Shelby has indicated that she has shaken her head no, that they do not. So,
Yes, Dana.
I was just going to say, if we don't want to discuss it tonight, because in the past when we've had employee discussions, we've done closed sessions. So if we aren't going to discuss it tonight, can we make a closed session to discuss it then? I do think it needs to be discussed. I just don't know how we discuss it. Do we discuss it? I guess my question is should we discuss it tonight or should we do a closed session? Because I know with other employees, we've done closed session. That's my question.
Well,
I do believe we
here's
need
my
to.
point. Here's my point. Here's
Go
my
ahead,
point
Bob.
on it. Because it's from a concerned individual, we don't know if it's an employee or not. Because they haven't given us any indication who the hell it's from.
But it's
So,
about
like I said,
employees.
the only reason I'm bringing this up is because he said, whoever it is sent this copy to the newspaper. And I want to make sure that I put my position on the record prior to it going to the newspaper.
My thought is the newspaper
As
is
maybe
not publishing it, correct, Shelby? Because it's anonymous?
Yeah, it is anonymous, and we tend not to publish anonymous letters strictly because we don't know who it's from, and we don't know any motivation behind it.
Okay, and I think the board probably, I like Dana's suggestion of doing a closed session, and we need to find out, we need to talk to the fire chief about it. I would think not outside of a public place, if we have that option, and I believe we do.
How does the rest of the board feel, I guess?
Pardon me?
I said, how does the rest of the board feel? Should it be closed session or
Yes,
open?
well, that's true.
Yes,
Scott, what are your thoughts?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being closed session as well.
Okay.
Then Bob, after the
I
closed,
have strong feelings about the way this. I have strong feelings about the way this letter is submitted. I would rather address it publicly.
Well, perhaps you could make a statement under board comments, Bob. It's just if we get into this letter without knowing all the facts and everything, I just would hate to have something get reprinted by somebody else in the paper without us knowing everything about it. Dana.
Okay.
I was just going to say that I know the letter might not be from an employee. It might be from an employee. We don't know who the letter's from, but the letter is about employees, and that's why I felt it should be closed session. After the closed session, we could make the decision that we want to then talk about it in public, or that we want to give our opinion on it, or let people know why whatever's happening is happening. Can always happen too. I just think before we start revealing everything, because it is employees, it should be closed.
Well, I'll go along with Kathy, and I can make my statement about this letter under the trustee comments. I can do that.
Okay. All right, so at this point, our agenda just has one amendment, and that is swapping out new business C with D. And I have a motion by Clerk Allen to approve the agenda as amended, and it is seconded by Trustee Rumball. Is there any other discussion on the agenda? Okay. If you're in favor of approving as amended, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda has been approved unanimously. So we can move on to our reports this evening. We have a treasury report, a general ledger report, a designated report, and I just wanted to point out on the designated report, we have $90,000 in Metro funds. That money is supposed to be used to pay for our Sashabar Road paving project that we have not been billed for yet. So I'm, in addition to some other funds in there, but anyways, just so everyone knows, that has been earmarked, and I need to follow up the road. We also have, oh, that was the designated report. We have a reconciliation report. I thought I saw one in here. Mine's out of order. I guess we don't have a reconciliation report.
I don't have it either, Kathy.
Okay, no reconciliation report this evening. We have a building department report, and it looks like we're down in new housing starts, but the revenue is on track with last year. And we have a recreation report. An Edna Burton Senior Center report. A CDBG report. And that brings us to trustees' reports. So Bob, we'll let you go first.
Bob, you're on mute.
Well, that's the way I work the best. I stopped by the village, the township offices the other day, obviously to pick up my package. And it's nice to see her making some headway on the brick, and it really looks nice the way it is. Also, I want to commend Candy and the poll workers on election day. I vote at Station 1. It could not have gone smoother, even though there was a line all the way to the back of the cemetery there, but went really smooth. Candy, please pass along my thanks to all the workers. They did a great job.
Is that it, Bob?
That's it.
Okay. Jason.
I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for getting out and voting and making it a smooth process. And like Bob said, thanks to all Candy in the clerk's office and all the poll workers for having a successful election again, as usual.
Okay. Dana?
First, my subcommittees did not meet, so I don't have anything to report on my subcommittees. But then also, I'd like to, off of Bob and Jason, thank you to the poll workers and Candy's department for everything for elections last week. And then I just wanted to say, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving and gets to enjoy it somehow or another, because we still have a lot to be grateful for, even through these times.
Thank you. Scott?
Are we up to the treasurer's report?
Oh, Chris Cordella.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. That's my mistake. Chris?
There was a planning commission meeting, and it had to do with this, the Bell North Yard, which is off of Wolf Road. And it was a very interesting meeting, to say the least. I think there's going to be a lot more coming on this. And I'm not going to be there, but whoever takes over for me, just be aware that I don't think the people that bought this land to do what they want to do are going to give up that easily. We turned down their request But like I say, I think there's more to come, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. And with regards to that, happy Thanksgiving to all, and God bless you all. Goodbye.
Thank you, Chris. All right, Scott, now we're ready.
Okay, well, we're winding down the collection of summer taxes. Obviously, they were due on September 15th or 14th, but they're still coming in daily, but it's winding down. And just as we've wound down, we're getting ready to print the winter taxes, and that's going to happen in the next couple weeks. Tax bills will go out on by December 1st. They should be in residents' hands by December 1st. And then the craziness starts again. I want to say, yes, again, good job, Candy and her crew, and being in the office every day and watching the pandemonium that was over in the clerk's area with the number of people coming in to register at the last minute. They did a good job. It was just crazy. It was nuts.
Sure.
So good job to their whole crew over there. That's it.
Yep.
Is that it, Scott?
That's it, yes.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Clerk Allen. Okay, hold on a second. Chris?
Scott.
Yes.
We talked a lot at the last meeting about paper, stuff like that. And yet, in my report today, I got the 31-page report with regards to, I think it's, well, I know it's from your office. I thought you were going to like eliminate it.
It's not, Chris. Actually, that comes from the clerk's office. And although we did discuss it, I don't think we actually finalized anything. And I'll probably bring that up. I just figured I'd wait until we've got the new crew. There's no point in rocking the boat at this point. So we'll talk about that
Good
again.
Enough.
Yeah.
Good enough.
I'd like to interject on that. The packet comes from the supervisor's office.
Okay.
Well, we don't print the financial report.
Somebody discusses it going forward, that'd be a good move, because all that paperwork I really have never used over the last 4 years, and I don't think anyone uses it.
Yeah,
I use it every day, Chris.
I use it a lot.
Well, that's good. So you should have a copy of it, but the rest of us don't need copies of it.
I look at it.
Okay.
Well, that's fine. Maybe you
Hey,
should
Kathy,
ask
do you want
for a
to
copy.
buck to anybody?
I didn't hear what you said, Bob. I'm sorry.
I said, do you want to pass the buck to anybody? It's gone from Scott to Candy, and I heard you're next, and Candy went to you, and
Well, I did.
No,
I
I'm
said
just
that
joking.
we don't print the report, but I do use it. Okay, let's go on to Clerk Allen. Clerk's report.
Well, since this is my last meeting, I wanted to say that it's been a pleasure working for Brandon Township for 8 years. And the board, I wish you all very good luck and congratulations to you. You all do need to get sworn in before November 20th. So if you call and let me know or email me a day and a time to come in and get sworn in, that'd be great. Tomorrow I'm doing a couple library members. I want to first of all thank my deputy of 8 years who has done an outstanding job, Karen MacArthur. I will always be forever grateful for her dedication to me and Brandon Township. She's a hard one to replace, and hopefully she's going to stay on a while and help Roslyn out with her new role. Pardon me?
I hope she does.
I do too. So I just want to thank my staff. They did an outstanding job. As everybody knows, it was a hard election, but we did get through it. I did have to hire more people, but that's what got us through. So a lot of overtime was paid out, but there'll be a budget amendment before the end of the year by our new clerk. So everybody have a happy and safe Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. That's it.
Thank you, Candy.
Candy?
Thank you.
Yes.
See you, Candy.
Candy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know what the percentage was, voter turnout percentage was?
I don't know off the top of my head. We had 97% return on absentee ballots. I do know that. It was huge.
Wow.
We had over 5,400 absentee ballots out. So, greatest
Wow.
election ever. And we registered on election day 52 brand new voters, and they voted while they were here.
Very cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Big success. You're welcome.
Yes, Chris.
Question for Shelby. I read the latest Citizen and it had no statistics in it at all. Are you guys planning on putting out some stats? Or is the clerk office going to do that, Candy? Or are we going to get some statistics?
We are planning on that for this week, Chris.
Who is?
Unfortunately, with how close we go to print, we go to press on Thursday. There just wasn't enough time for us to get all that information. But we will have the voter turnout percentages. I was planning on calling Candy in the morning.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your report, Candy.
Welcome.
As far as the supervisor's report, I'd also like to congratulate everyone, all the new and returning board members. It looks like we're going to have a good board for the next 4 years. Candy covered the swearing-in process, so that was good. I'd also like to thank all of the election workers for running a good election, and I'd also like to thank the clerk's office for that last month of tireless work that they put in with all those ballots and all that work. They were working really hard. As far as the township facelift, it won't be completed until the end of November or maybe even early December. We ordered the posts that go in near the front door, and they might take a little while to get here. But it is moving along slowly, but it's moving along. The 2021 budget is prepared, but we did not have enough time to post the public hearing and allow the public time to review it before today's meeting. So we're going to have to bring that to our November meeting, but I'll have it all ready to go. I'm sorry, to our December meeting, and I'll have it all ready to go for that. We've received about $72,000 in CARES Act reimbursements for the general fund so far. We'll be getting a little bit more. We will also be getting a substantial amount going into the police fund and the fire department general fund. So we're looking forward to those funds to help us out. Not all of the money is reimbursement for things we purchased. Part of it is a reimbursement for hours worked. And at the township level, it was administrative hours. At the fire department police level, it was just regular hours during mostly March and April, and also June now. And I'd also like to thank all the veterans for putting themselves in harm's way to protect our country. So let's think of them on Wednesday when we have our day off. And happy Thanksgiving, and Merry Christmas to you, Candy, and everyone else too. That completes my report. So we can move on to correspondence. This evening we have Zoning Board of Appeals meeting minutes of July 22nd, 2020. Planning Commission meeting minutes of August 25th, 2020. Planning Commission meeting minutes of September 22nd, 2020. Zoning Board of Appeal minutes, meeting minutes of September 23rd, 2020. So at this time, we will take citizens' comments, and this will be on agenda items only, and we will be happy to answer your questions at the end of the meeting. These are comments that you want to make to the board. Please state your name, and although it's not required, we ask you to state the city, township, or village in which you live. Comments shall be courteous and limited to 3 minutes per speaker. So is there anyone that would like to make a comment this evening?
Kathy?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Faye? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Faye.
I don't know if, I didn't want to interject, but I wanted to say a couple things that I just found out after I had printed my report. And usually you ask me if I have anything to say.
Oh, so, I'm sorry, Faye. Yes, go ahead.
That's okay. It's not that much. I did find out, though, we have been approved for our 2 dairy programs that we get. We get 30 boxes on Wednesdays and 70 on Thursdays, and those will be extended through December 22nd, and those will be our last day. And we have started on Thursday. Wednesdays are delivery days, and Thursdays people come and pick it up. And we have started putting out our oversupply of like Focus Hope or commodities or stuff that people have said, well, I'll take this out of the box, but I don't want this. So we put a couple tables out on the grass out there in front of the porch, and people in boxes or bags, and people can take what they want. We actually had, I put it out on Facebook this past week, or last week, but I didn't get it out early enough. But we did have someone that actually drove by, and they don't qualify for Focus Hope, but I am able to sign them up for commodities, and they are on my list now to be called every week for the dairy, to come and pick up the dairy. And they got themselves some groceries. Neither one of them are working, so just a little bit of advertising and right out in the middle of the yard, and people are seeing stuff. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have it through December 22nd. So
very good. Very good. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Faye.
very much, Faye. Also, I
You're
didn't
welcome.
recognize the building director. Did you have anything, Bill, to add to the building department report?
No, nothing. It speaks for itself. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go back to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens that would like to make a comment this evening on any of the agenda items?
Hi, my name is Chris Erickson. I'm in Brandon Township, and it's basically more a question versus a comment. It was understood that there was to be a discussion at the next board meeting, which would be this board meeting, about the slower speeds. And I see that's not on the agenda, so perhaps that was tabled for another meeting.
Okay, Chris, thank you for pointing that out. We should bring that back. I wasn't able to find out everything Jason was looking for, but we can still bring it back to the board to look at again. So I'll make a note to make sure that that gets on our December meeting.
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy, you were gonna, Scott had asked, you asked Greg how many accidents are on the gravel roads. And Bob wanted to know if there was another company that you could use instead of the Road Commission of Oakland County.
There,
That's just a few notes I took at
I
the
think it's
October 8th meeting.
okay. There is a organization that keeps track of accidents, but I don't think they break it down between gravel roads and paved roads. And I did speak to Greg, to Lieutenant Glover about it, and he said that we actually have very, very few accidents on the gravel roads. And I believe I shared his email with the board members back about 3 weeks or so.
I don't remember seeing that one, Kathy.
Okay, I'll resend it.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
I'll have to look because now I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe he came in and told me. So I'll try to get something in writing from him so that I can share.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other citizens that would like to make a comment this evening on agenda items? All right, seeing none, we'll continue with our meeting. We have a consent agenda with regular meeting minutes of October 5th, 2020, special meeting minutes of October 8th, 2020, regular bills in the amount of $227,455.28, prepays in the amount of $363,639.41, township benefits from payroll account of $33,845.41, trustee timesheets in the amount of $1,560, which gives you a total of $626,500.10. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll support.
So moved.
Okay. I think that was Trustee Marshall that made the motion.
Yes.
And Jason, was that you that supported?
Yes.
Trustee Marshall, you're on a little bit of a delay, so I saw your mouth moving but couldn't hear the words right away. All right, I have a consent.
I was practicing my ventriloquism.
Okay. Now that time it worked fine. All right, I have a motion by Trustee Marshall and it is seconded by Trustee Rumble to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please, Lena.
Allen,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. We have no unfinished business this evening, so we'll move right into our new business. Our first item is rezoning of 910 South Ortonville Road. So Director Dinnan is here to enlighten us as far as what that entails.
I've submitted to you a memo report referencing 910 South Ortonville Road. 910 South Ortonville Road is actually the building which has encompassed the Ryson Building Company and the sign company. Along with that, and part of this rezoning issue is the property that used to encompass the backyard entertainment place. They sold swings and outdoor equipment. So that is the portion of land that the applicant, being Randy Wise Ford, has submitted a rezoning classification to change the zoning. Well, it's a split zoning. It's C4 in the front, but it's general industrial in the back, and they want to make the whole piece C4 zoning. This did go before the Planning Commission on 10/27, and I do have to apologize. My report says you got the draft minutes. I didn't realize that you didn't get them, but we did. I think Kathy did forward them to you today via email.
Tonight about 6:30, so it came pretty late.
Yeah. Actually, as you can see by what's on your agenda, I'm pretty busy with planning issues, so I apologize for that. But the Planning Commission did hold the public.
I got 2 pages of that also.
I'm sorry,
Kathy. Yeah, and Bill, Kathy, I only got like 2 pages of that add-on.
Right.
I didn't get the full thing with the email.
Mr. Marshall, you should have received just the public hearing portion of the Planning Commission that addressed this particular issue. So if you got page 3 and
let's see what I have.
If you got page 3 and 4, you got the part of the Planning Commission minutes that address this issue.
Okay, that's what I have now. I thought I was missing 2 pages.
I just didn't want to send you a bunch of stuff you didn't need, so I gave you specifically what this issue encompasses. So, and I apologize.
Thanks, Bill.
We have a couple of things on the agenda for you this evening, and virtue of, there's no excuse. We just messed up and we've got it to you late. Either way, the Planning Commission did hold the public hearing, as you can see by the minutes. There was just one question by a Mr. Elms. However, he wasn't really concerned about what was happening on that project. He was more concerned with the project across the street, across Wolf Road. So in essence, there was no public comments either in favor or against the rezoning of this property. And with that, the Planning Commission is recommending that the Township Board approve the rezoning to C4. Now, part of what's behind this is they want to have this property and use it for more car storage for their dealership. To downzone this, and that we call it in the planning group downzoning, because you're taking a zoning that is general industrial, which is more intense, and you're actually making it a less intense issue by rezoning it to the C4. So actually, it's not as intense of a use of the property, and I think that's a plus for Brandon Township. With that, and attached, you should have a motion for this first reading that we've prepared for you.
So, Bill, are they just going to raise the buildings and turn it into a parking lot?
They're going to keep the one back building that just had a new roof put on it, but the Ryzen construction, the wood frame building that's there, and the backyard, both those buildings will be demolished, and yes, it will be turned into a parking lot.
Dana?
I appreciate you getting us the information and explaining it, because that's where I was confused, because the public hearing part mentioned Wolf Road and I'm like, wait, this is Ortonville Road. So I got a little confused. So thank you for explaining that. Are they going to then the building with the old back pool yard and where the hair salon was and the gun store, is all that going to be gone now too then with all this?
No, actually the gun shop is under a separate ownership.
Okay.
The gun shop ends up a little island by itself and surrounded by Randy Wise Ford. At this point in time, I think there's discussions, but at this point in time, there's been no real negotiations happening to incorporate that. I believe, I'm just looking out into the future though, I think the intent may be to have that a Randy Wise complex in that area, but that they have to work that out themselves.
Right. So they already
Bill, are
own
the
the building.
surrounding
Oh, sorry.
Bill, are the surrounding properties also C4, including the shooting or the gun shop?
Yes, and the car wash.
Right.
That whole part that fronts M15 is zone C4. The back portion is the portion that's general industrial. And that pretty much is going to stay split zoning with the car wash, but that will just bring the whole back of those properties from the car wash to the campground. That will all end up C4 zoning.
Okay, go ahead, Dana.
So does Randy Wise, they already own then the building that Paramount's in?
Yes.
And is Paramount's building gonna, is that the building you're saying is gonna stay, or is that building being demolished? Not that
No,
it
that
matters.
building-
I'm curious.
That building will be destroyed, leveled. So will the backyard building that is right next door to the gun shop. But the building, if you've ever been to the car wash, as you drive back the driveway into the car wash, there's a building on the back part of that property to the left. That will become Randy Wise's what they call detail shop.
Okay.
So they will actually do some minor car detailing. They'll clean up for the used car lot, which presently they're doing. They were supposed to be doing it in the dealership building, but they're actually doing it outside at the used car lot, and that poses some problems by itself. But this will give them a total encompassing dealership arrangement. The other thing is that they won't have to have cars spread all over the township to park them.
Where else did they have cars?
Back or down where Mastercraft, I think it was called, used to be.
And where that coffee place was, that
Correct, across the street from there. It's in what was termed, well, at least I've been told it was the old mall building that has Alpine roofing in one end of it and just like a big parking lot on the other side of it.
So
Well, the
that's all
intent
their
is,
cars. Okay.
pardon me?
That's all
Yeah,
their cars, so the intent is to move those away from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, got a question.
Yep, go ahead.
What's going to
Chris.
happen with that? What's going to happen with that building? What's the plans for that building? I haven't seen anything. I mean, is Alpine going to stay there? If we get rid of the... Go ahead.
I've had no application for anybody to further improve that building on that site.
Okay, but we're going to get rid of the car parking lot to the south side of the building. Is that correct?
That's the intent of rezoning, so they can bring their cars up to the dealership instead of having to store them and transport them back and forth.
Okay. That was my question.
That's my understanding.
So now,
I'm not sure, but I believe Chris Enright may actually be on this meeting also, and he could maybe enlighten. He's the actual architect engineer for that project.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Chris, what's the deal?
Could you, just give us an idea of what the intention is.
So the intent is, as Bill indicated, that there are two existing buildings that are facing Ortonville Road or near Ortonville Road off of Castleton, which is the current sign shop and the building that used to be the outdoor furniture store. Both of those buildings will be raised, and in their stead will be more parking for the Randy Wise dealership.
I have a question.
Dana?
Will there be driving where they won't have to come out onto M15 to get the cars within Randy Wise's parking lot, then owning all of those? Because that's a really congested area as it is, where a lot of accidents happen. So will they be able to drive from, like, say, Paramount to the current Randy Wise through the parking area instead of having to go on the road.
They will own the property to the west of the gun shop. So they will own where the dealership is, property behind the gun shop, and it will actually tie into and become an integral part of the parking of the area we're talking about right now. So yes, they will not have to go out onto M15 to get from the detail shop or that parking area back to the dealership. Now, they will have to go out on the M15 to get from that area over to the used car lot.
Right, but that's down at the old coffee shop still.
Correct.
Okay,
Behind
but now
Dennis.
they won't be, and now they won't be driving cars, supposedly, if the intent works, from over by the Alpine Roofing up to Randy Wise then too. So it will hopefully limit some traffic.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the intent is to limit the traffic as much as possible by virtue of connecting all this, which is the whole purpose of the rezoning, is to actually allow vehicles to go from the detail shop to the Randy Wise dealership without going onto the main road.
Okay, that's good. That road can get bad.
All right, thank you, Bill. So would someone like to make the motion as presented?
I will, Kathy.
I'll support it.
That was Scott Broughton, Lena.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That was seconded by Dana. Okay, so I have a motion by Treasurer Broughton, and it is seconded by Trustee DePalma to accept for introduction, first reading, an application for an ordinance amendment to rezone and change the zoning map for parcel 0318-352-025, which is 910 South Ortonville Road, from GI General Industrial to C4 Mixed Business, per the attached rezoning documents that were submitted with the application. Any further discussion on this? Okay, roll call please, Lena.
Broughton,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Jason, you're
Jason,
muted.
your mic's off. You're muted.
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes, motion carries unanimously. So that brings us to item B, the rezoning of 2165 South Ortonville Road. And this is a second reading, and I think last meeting we approved the first reading, although I think there was a question or two, and Bill was not available. So did everybody get their questions answered regarding this one?
I think the biggest question, Kathy, we had is how employees were going to get from point A to point B without walking on private property.
Well, what they have done is the owner of the Bullfrogs restaurant, who is now the owner of the property that's being requested to be rezoned, has contacted MDOT, and they have actually received approval for plans to install a sidewalk from Bullfrogs up to this rezoned property, which is across the front of two residential properties that are currently owned by Mr. Hager. And then the property that's here tonight for the adoption of the rezoning will become actually extra parking for employees for Bullfrogs, and there have also been discussion, although nothing in writing, but maybe overflow for the GOB property when they have special events. So, and I don't know if you've already noticed, but the Coney is already gone. That building has already been removed from the site. I've discussed that issue with our planner, Doug Luan, And that could have happened without the rezoning issue anyway. And it's just a demolition. So the owner was willing to take it down, and I thought, well, no better time than the present.
I'll make that motion. I'm happy to hear about the sidewalk, and if GOB uses it, it's not a busy road to walk to, so that's great too. So I'll make that motion for the second reading.
I'll support.
Okay. I just have a question, Bill. We don't have any ordinances regarding using parking lots without a structure, do we?
Actually, parking lots are part of, and the reason for the zoning change from residential to C1 is parking is basically an accessory use to a commercial establishment. In other words, what's the sense of having a commercial establishment if you don't have parking? So parking is an act, although not specific, but it is an actual permitted use for C1 zoned property.
And doesn't have to be attached, Bill?
No.
Okay.
No, there's nothing in the ordinance that requires a building to be attached to use the property for parking.
Okay. All right, I have a motion by Trustee DePalma, and it is seconded by Clerk Allen to adopt for second reading an application for an ordinance amendment to rezone and change the zoning map for 0330-227-003 2165 Ortonville Road from R1B Single Family Residential to C1 Local Commercial per the attached rezoning documents that were submitted with the application.
As a point of order, Madam Thurman, that's the zoning is, or the parcel number is 002, and I believe you said 003.
Okay, I stand corrected, 002. Any further questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, roll call, please.
DePalma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
Thurman.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the wage schedule policy amendments. So, Treasurer Broughton and Trustee Rumble and I met, and we went through all of these. Some of them a little bit more back and forth than others. It was pointed out to me that we cannot what's the term? We cannot make this official at the beginning of this year for the current officials. There's legislation against that, so that part of the question has been omitted. You can see that everything in red is what we're suggesting to amend. Some of the wages were left at a 2% increase, such as the recreation director and the senior center coordinator, also the wages for the assessing department.
So all of this is a 2% plus whatever else you guys determined?
Correct.
But we don't see what it was at. You didn't give us that. To see what the change was.
Right, and I think that was at our last meeting.
To really see what the percent
but I have that. If
is.
you have any questions, I can.
They're not 2%, Kathy. I don't think we use percentages.
No, we did not.
We're closer
No,
to
we didn't. But I mean, just a couple of them were at 2%, such as the, like I said, the Parks and Rec director and the senior center coordinator and the stuffing. The rest of them was not based on 2%. We went through, first of all, we had the discussion regarding officials and the comparison with the officials' wages. We received a letter from the building director regarding assistant director job that was listed at $38 an hour, and the clerical, we moved the full-time up to what equates to $45,000 a year, which was keeping in line with the average bookkeeping, and that came out to a 6% increase. The senior center van drivers, that got adjusted. It wasn't a huge adjustment, but it's more in line with what NODA and WODA are paying. And then
I kind of feel like this is mixing in with their 2%. I almost feel like you can't tell that they're getting a 2% versus what they're getting as we're changing the wages, because all you're giving us is this saying that they're getting a 2% increase, but then we're changing other stuff. And there's nothing here to say, okay, this is what increase we're getting, or they're getting 2%. And this, it just seems all jumbled. So you don't know what someone's really getting right now.
We did not
it's
use
not a straight 2%.
I know that. So what I'm saying is that you can't tell what people are getting because there's nothing to compare it to, and who got 2% and who didn't. And if we're saying we're giving a 2% raise, what I'm thinking is it shouldn't be we do 2%.
We're not giving a 2% raise. We got together and decided that some of our wages were lower than what surrounding communities were paying, and we had made adjustments. It's not a straight 2% raise by any means.
I understand that, but then you didn't show us what the other townships are making. I mean, I don't know. I have nothing to compare this to.
Well, you had all that at our budget meeting.
We don't have we had what they were making, but we don't know what you guys are comparing this to coming up with these wages.
Well, I can tell you they're still the cheapest anywhere around by far.
Yeah, and to rephrase what Jason said, just in case somebody listens or watches this on YouTube later, even after these adjustments, we are still going to be the lowest paid community in northern Oakland County.
And so how does the fire department come in then when we say we're doing this and they're just doing a 2% increase?
If you look at what I wrote up there, it says the fire department will be doing a comparative analysis of their wages in the coming year. So this year, they are doing a 2% increase. We're also going to be giving a 1% increase again to the pension fund for all employees. Also today, I think it was today, or maybe it was last week and I read it today, we received a letter from the senior center coordinator in regard to her wages, and I just wanted to point a couple things out to the board, that in 2014 the senior center coordinator was making $35,932 and clerical was making $37,440. And the board decided at that point to increase the senior center coordinator wages up to $40,000 for 2015, and that worked out to an 11.5% increase. And that increase was not given to anyone else but the senior center coordinator. And Faye gave us a comparison. Some of the senior centers weren't real close by, and the ones that were, my thought personally was that we weren't too far out of line. But I think if we do increase the senior center coordinator wages, we might want to look also at our Parks and Rec director wages and do a comparison of his as well. And I don't know if we would want to take that up tonight or have look at it for next time.
May I say something, please?
Sure.
The rec director got a 12% raise back before you became supervisor.
Right.
And
right.
making $12,000 more as a department head than the senior coordinator is. She's actually underpaid by a lot.
Well, and also the Parks and Rec director has been working for us for 20 years, and the senior center coordinator has been working for us for a couple years.
That doesn't change the responsibilities, the workload at all.
Yeah, I agree with Candy. It seems to me I did the hourly rates on these, and now I understand Faye does not work 40-hour work weeks. She must work probably 50 hours a week at least. I'm sure she puts in over and above 40 hours, but basically it's strictly on a 40-hour work week. Her hourly rate is $21.86 per hour, which is 23 cents more than a 2-year clerical. It seems to me that a department head, which I'm assuming that Faye's considered a department head, should be making substantially more money than 23 cents more than an hour than a 2-year clerk.
I think that's where I'm feeling that we need to really do this in a workshop where we sit down and talk about each one like we've done before. And right now we do the 2% because I think there needs to be more than just this. That's my opinion.
I disagree. I'm not putting this off again. We've already talked about this. We talked about it.
But I didn't know you were going to just bring me numbers and not give me any type of comparison of what townships were looked at, what kind of increases these are, or any of that type of stuff. Because I was thinking it was just going to be the 2% until we met again in a workshop. I did not think we were just going to all of a sudden give these increases.
MTA offers wages for any community that you want.
At our workshop, Dana, it was decided that Jason, Scott, and I would get together and come up with something to present to the board, and that's what we did, and we thought this was the most fair way to do the increases. I really don't have a problem increasing the senior center coordinators' wages up a little bit if we want to add that in tonight.
I didn't realize that it was to bring to the board to vote on. I thought it was to bring to another workshop for us to go over.
I agree.
No, it was bring to our next meeting to vote on.
It would have been nice to have more details.
I'd like to see the senior coordinators' wage increased a little bit. That just seems 23 cents over a clerk seems a little paltry.
Okay, how about I make a suggestion, instead of 2%, we give her a 4% wage increase.
I don't have my calculator handy. Dana, do you have a calculator handy? Can you figure out what that would be?
Well, I don't know what her old wage is because all I have is her new wage here.
44,596.
44 what?
596.
Okay, times 0.04 would be an extra 1783.84. So 44596 plus 70 1883. Without cents, I'd put her up to 46,379 divided by 2808 is, whoops, hold on, that did not equal that first.
2080, Dana.
2080, yes, that's what I might have, I knew what I was doing, but I might not have said. That's 22.30 an hour.
Thanks, Dana. I knew you'd have a calculator.
Well, yeah, I guess
I get 46,380 and 6 cents.
You said
Yeah, that's
46,380.06?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So a 3-year clerical is making $42,556. I think she should at least make minimum 47,000.
What is a 3-year clerical making? I only see 2 years here.
Oh, well, I'm looking at what we have in place right now today. $20.46 an hour for a 3-year.
That's 44,000 a year, a year. Multiply that hourly times 2080.
I did.
And it's 44,990.
Yeah, that's what I have.
So everybody
Figured it out
2
ahead of
years
time
and
before
up
the
will
meeting.
get paid. So per this new schedule, everybody 2 years and up will get $21.63 an hour. Like there's no 3-year, 4-year, 5-year, right?
That's correct.
It's just the longevity then.
Yes.
And whatever percentage they get that year.
Correct, isn't right?
Okay, if we give the senior center coordinator an 5% increase, it comes to 46,826, which is very close to 47,000.
And the rec director's making almost 57,000.
I don't think it's a good idea to start comparing those two jobs. They're not the same job.
Yeah, you know what? This is not the right forum to be discussing all this stuff. I don't think. You know what I mean? The bottom line is, this guy's making this much, that person's making that much. Comparisons are comparisons. People do different things. They're not apples to apples. Nothing's apples to apples here right now. So, I'm not really comfortable with this whole conversation.
Bob, are you okay with the 5% increase for the senior center coordinator?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So let's amend that at least.
Do we even know what all this does to our budget for wage increase with taxes and all that stuff? Because you add on, pay more taxes. Do we know what this does to the budget coming for January? I know it.
Yes, our budget will be fine. I did the budget and I just.
Right, but again, we don't have that to see this. This is where I felt like we needed the whole picture. This is where they were. This is what they're getting. This is how it's going to affect the budget. That's why when I read this, when I looked at it, I thought this was just 2% and we were waiting on the rest, but.
It's far more than 2%.
Well, the problem is too, Dana, I need to know this so that I can put the correct numbers into the budget. Let me see. Okay, so.
Yeah, so Kathy, can you give me the complete number? It's 46,826 any cents?
02.
02? All right, thank you.
So that's, whoops. You don't know hourly, Bob. That's $22.51 an hour. It's almost $1 more.
22.51?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the budget. Shows that the revenue over appropriations would be 43,309 with all these figures except for the senior center coordinator figured in for 2021.
Did you guys take into consideration like healthcare and all that stuff that in our OPEB and all that for these employees compared to other places when you looked at it?
Yes.
We didn't
not
go
sure.
to every township and ask exactly how much their clerical were making, because a lot of them have them separated into different divisions, because I did do that before. So it was really difficult to make a apples to apples comparison. And the other townships, when I, let's see, if I can find the paper.
Remember, this affects how much
We
put
did
into.
look at what they paid their officials, and typically, if they offer health care to their officials, but the health care wasn't a question. Yes, it was.
Okay,
if they
'cause
do
also-
offer health care to their officials, usually it's to their employees as well.
Also, then the more
So,
the increase, we increase what we pay into pension and all that stuff too, especially when we're at like what, 15% of their income into pension. Did you take that into account when you were looking at the budget too?
I asked the other communities, and most all of them are paying either a pension or a 401k. Most, all but Springfield, Oxford, and Highland are paying either into OPEB or a healthcare savings plan. And pretty much we are the only ones, along with Southfield, that are giving longevity.
Okay, so did we take that into account too? What our longevity puts them up compared to others once you start getting longevity along with
Yep.
the
So when you look at longevity, Dana, if you base it on a $65,000 wage, which is what we plan to give the supervisor, after 20 years, he would be making an extra $5,200.
Okay, but what I was saying when I was talking about OPEB was when you put this into the budget, this increase in wages, it also increases our payroll tax line. It also increases our OPEB contribution because now we're paying more to the employees, which I'm fine with. I do believe they need something. I just don't know if this is the time to do it in the middle of a pandemic and the way it's presented to us. And the fire department's doing 2%. I think we should do 2%, and we should do a comparative analysis when they do it, and we do it at the same time. But what I was saying is the OPEB in our budget will go up then. The amount we contribute to OPEB will go up because we're paying more in wages. Did you take that into the budget?
I think I had enough slush in the OPEB, but like I said, there's $48,000 of revenue over expenditures, so there is some leeway there.
Okay, I just think that we should do it when the fire department does it. We should just do the typical increase and look at this for future, but
Yeah, I disagree.
I said we should do everything the same, and I don't like the way it was presented with the comparison, but that's my opinion.
I think we
Kathy, with
Wait.
this,
Yeah.
hold on.
Go ahead, Chris.
Wait a minute. And I said this 5 minutes ago. I'm gonna say it again. I agree with Dana. You know, we're doing comparisons. We're doing things that are not, you know, I mean, like kosher with decisions we've made already in the past, like Dana said, with the fire department and increases and so on and so forth. So I say either we table this completely or we stay with the 2%. I agree with Dana. Okay?
Okay.
I make the motion as written. Let's call a vote on it, and
Yeah, Bob,
Chris
can I
can
ask
disagree all he wants with his vote.
Bob, can I ask on your motion though, is that with the modified senior center coordinator to 46,826.
Yes.
46,826.02.
Okay.
And does your motion,
O2.
Bob,
Don't forget the O2.
Bob, does your motion include upping the officials' wages in July?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out.
Is part of your motion to increase the officials' wages in July when they already knew what they were coming in
it's
at? And
presented.
that's what's presented?
Yeah,
Is that
as
for July?
presented with the modification for the senior center coordinator.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry, who said that? Scott?
I did, yes, Kathy. Scott.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on this?
I just want to make it clear for any employees who might be listening, I do agree they need to have an increase. I just don't like the way that it's being handled right now.
I agree.
That's my whole point.
Okay. I have a motion by Trustee Marshall and is seconded by Treasurer Broughton to approve the amended township wage schedules as presented with the senior center coordinator modification for a 5% increase.
Well, could you give the number, Kathy? Because that's the way all the other ones are listed.
The 5% increase of $46,826.02.
Correct. Thank you.
With an effective date of January 1st, 2021 for employees and July 1st, 2021 for supervisor, clerk, and treasurer. Increase fire department employees' wages by 2% beginning January 1st, 2021, and increase the MERS pension fund by 1%.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
If we're not allowed to increase the officials' wages at the start of a new term, are we allowed to do trustees?
We're not allowed to lower their wages. What?
But
I
you just,
don't understand your question.
well, because you said there was legislation that you realized that we cannot do the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer right now.
We
No,
cannot
it was
make
that
it
you can't
retroactive.
January
Was
1st.
what it was.
Hold on, I can't hear two of you
The
guys.
first
speaking at
of
once.
2021. So Dana, we cannot make them retroactive.
Okay, because you were talking last time at the workshop about retroactive.
Right, right. And we
Okay,
cannot
so
do
that's
that.
what you can't do. You guys just determined to do the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer halfway through the year, not because there was some law you couldn't do it January 1st. That was just your decision. Is that correct?
Correct.
Well,
Okay,
that's
I was
what
thinking
we
there was
put
a.
in there. We didn't even talk about that.
We didn't.
No,
That was
I was
kind
just
of my
thinking-
decision.
No, I was just thinking you said there was legislation, so I was concerned about the trustees then doing now. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Dana, we did not talk about the 6 months. That was what Kathy put in there. After
Okay.
we met, that was in an email.
I was just confused about what the legislation she meant then was.
It's against the U.S. State of Michigan Constitution to pay elected officials for work they've already done.
For retroactive, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. I didn't understand. Sorry.
And I just moved it 6 months off because then we would be given a increase to officials that haven't worked the job much at all. So I thought it would just be a little more palatable if we started it halfway through the year. Okay, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Cordella,
No.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
No.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
No, not that I don't think employees
Thurman?
deserve it.
Thurman,
Yes. I didn't hear Clerk Allen's reply. Was it a no?
It was a no. Not against the
Okay,
employees.
all right, thank you.
Against the whole
Okay.
package. The presentation.
Okay, thank you. All right, so motion carries 4-3. Now we can move on to new hire for the assistant treasurer. So, Treasurer Broughton, would you like to present this, please?
Yeah, it's pretty much as read. The suggested motion to hire blank, because I haven't picked that person yet, but it's hopefully within the next week I will, and I can't afford to wait until the December board meeting to do that. There is room in the treasurer's budget to handle this, so there's no. I just need this line item change, but it's all within the treasurer's budget to handle this. And I have to get somebody trained before Kim leaves at the end of the year. Where the treasurer's office is going from over 35 years of experience to less than a year, and I got to get somebody in there, and so that's why the to hire blank is the way it is, and beginning is blank because it could be as soon as a week from yesterday, or it might be a couple weeks out. I won't know until I talk to the people that I've interviewed. I've interviewed someone, and it looked promising, and I've gone through. I received about 6 resumes, and really 3 were going to work out, and I think I've picked the one, but we'll have to see. So that's why those 2 items are blank, but it's all going to come out of the treasurer's budget for the next month and a half, and we should be able. I'm good to cover that.
Dana, go ahead.
I know sometimes that other departments, I thought, hire a fill-in without having to have approval by the board, and then we would approve in December. Is that correct? Did we just do that?
I don't want to hire a person as a fill-in because this person I'm asking this person to leave their current job. And I don't think it's fair to say, well, you're going to be part-time and hopefully the board will approve it in December. I couldn't do that to somebody.
I just was asking, that's all.
Yeah.
So is the new hire, Scott? Sorry.
Go ahead, Ken.
Is the new hire going to start at the wages that we now have currently in our policy?
At the start, yes, at the new starting wage for clerical staff, so it'll be $18.27 an hour to start.
That doesn't begin until January 1st.
Right.
But that's why this motion is written the way it is at the 2021 starting wage rate for clerical staff.
All right. Because it didn't explain that they're going to start out at 18 whatever in your motion.
Pardon me?
I say I wasn't clear in your new hire paperwork that they were going to start at the new wage, I guess.
Right. It's just the way I decided to write it at the 2021 starting wage rate for clerical staff. And so that's because when I did write this, we hadn't passed the motion before this. So I wrote it that way on purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Chris.
What is the starting wage? I mean, when you leave it blank like that, I mean, am I signing a blank check here, or Scott, what's the starting wage?
It would be $18.27.
Thank you.
And we can we add that onto to your motion, Scott?
Now we can.
At the 2021 starting wage rate for clerical staff of $18.27
Yes.
per hour.
Yes.
Do you want to give like your second blank line in the treasurer's office beginning in November 2020, or something that doesn't tie you down to an exact date but still gives you an idea of when?
If that makes anybody more comfortable, I can certainly say, okay, as assistant treasurer in the treasurer's office beginning November of 2020. If we want to say it that way, that's fine.
Yes, Dana.
So this person hiring in November is going to start out at the January rate. Is there anybody who currently works at the township who is still at the starting rate that they're going to pass up all of a sudden?
No.
Not in any department?
No.
Okay.
So with the changes,
this is a little. I'm sorry. What?
Well, I was just going to say, with the changes, I'd like to just reread my motion, if that would be okay, so everybody's clear.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be fine. But before you do, I just wanted to know, how are you going to notify the board of who you're choosing? And I mean, we've, of all the years I've been on, we've hired people, but we've never hired somebody without a name.
Right. And it's just the situation, unless you want to call a special meeting 2 days from now to do this all over again. I had to write it this way because I'm under a time crunch.
And it's basically because you want to offer the position to somebody, or is it?
I think I do.
If that doesn't work out, you go to
That's right.
someone else.
That's correct. But as far as if someone accepts, I will be happy to email the board within the hour.
So is this the way you're going to do all your hires, Scott? Because typically you make an offer and then you come to the board.
Dana, I've already explained the situation here. I'm under a time crunch, and the rest of my experience is leaving at the end of December. So
I understand that. My issue is other people have asked to hire people at higher rates when they're new because of different things, and we've said no, because you start doing that once, you got to do it again.
I'm not worried about other people. I'm worried about getting this done right now. And I just feel like you're almost just being, I don't know why you want to make this more difficult for me. It's already difficult enough as it is.
I'm not trying to make it difficult, but we've always been, if we do it for one, we have to do it for the other, because we're a township and we're public and everybody knows what we do. It's not a business where you can do one thing and do another and no one knows it.
Who said? I don't know where that comes from, other than that's just the way it's always been. But we need to get away from treating everybody exactly the same. It doesn't work that way in the real world.
I know it doesn't. I've always been opponent.
Yeah, I agree.
But everybody else has always been for it. So you're for it other times, but okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we don't have to hire one person at one rate and the next day hire somebody else at the very same rate. It's not the way it works. So Scott's in charge of that department. I trust Scott on making decisions on how to hire for that department.
Okay.
Well, on January 1, anybody else that's hired is going to start at that rate anyway.
Yeah.
I understand that, but all these other times you guys have always
You're
been
talking about 25 days. Nobody else is going to be hired. Is anybody else going to be planning on hiring somebody in the next 20 days?
I hope so. In the clerk's office, there should be ads in the paper pretty soon.
Yep.
Okay, then I would expect you to bring the same motion.
It won't come from me. It will come from the new clerk.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, Chris. I'd like to recognize Chris.
Thank you. I find it in my last meeting, I find it really humorous. No, not humorous, ironic. That what I've been talking about for 4 friggin' years about business and acting like business people, it's now come full circle. And Scott Broughton is now bringing up, like, hey, we need to start treating this like a business. And you know what? I agree. It should be that way. It always should have been that way. And you know what? God bless you, Scott. And I hope that going forward that we start doing that more often. Okay? That's all. Thank you.
So can I
Okay.
read my motion, Kathy?
Yeah, okay, go ahead and make the motion, Scott.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to hire someone as assistant treasurer in the treasurer's office beginning November of 2020 at the 2021 starting wage rate for clerical staff at $18.27 an hour.
Someone like to second that motion?
Second.
Support.
You're a little slow, Chris.
Sorry.
Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Broughton and it is seconded by Trustee Marshall to hire someone as assistant treasurer in the treasurer's office beginning November of 2020 at the 2021 starting wage rate for clerical staff at $18.27 per hour. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, the motion again was made by Treasurer Broughton and it was seconded by Trustee Marshall. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
and Thurman. Or, hold on,
Yeah.
sorry, this was
Ordella.
Yes.
Cordella.
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes. Motion carries unanimously.
And then I do need to make a motion for this budget amendment, all within the treasurer's department, just to move that money over into the wages fill-in.
Yeah, I'm
So
sorry, we forgot to read that in with the rest of it.
that's okay. It's better that they're separate. So I'd also like to make the motion to move $2,500 from my education line over to my wages fill-in line. It will increase wages fill-in line from where it's currently at $2,186.50 to $4,686.50.
I'll support.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Treasurer
Did I
Broughton
sneak that
and
in?
it is nah, sorry, Chris.
Oh,
Chris Allen beat you to it.
Oh.
So we have a motion by
Candy,
Treasurer
so
Broughton
sly.
and just seconded by Clerk Allen for the replacement salary to be paid using the fill-in wage line and amend 101-253-960 education from 2,500 to 0 and 101-253-704-000 wages fill-in from 2186.50 to $4,686.50. Okay, any discussion on the budget amendment? Is there any? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Kathy, first did Candy make the motion?
No,
So-
I didn't.
The motion was made by Treasurer Broughton, and it was seconded by Clerk Allen.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Rumble,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Broughton,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Cordella,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Okay, that brings us to our last item, amendment to casual day policy to allow pets. Everybody, I'm sure, has had a chance to read this over. I've received interest from employees wanting to bring pets to work. I know in the treasurer's office that the previous treasurer brought a pet. I kind of didn't bring it to the board because the pet was had separation anxiety and it was supposed to be taken care of. And anyways, I've also had the clerk say we need a policy on this. So I just thought I would bring it up to the board, let the board discuss it and see how we want to handle this. Also, I contacted MMRMA. I sent his statement to the board earlier today. So hopefully everybody received that. So the suggested motion would be to make a amendment under the casual day that would allow township employees to bring their pet to work on casual day.
For the record, I'm totally against it. I don't think pets belong in our building with citizens. I have allergies. I have dog hair on my desk every day, and I do still from the past treasurer through the air ducts. And there are people that are afraid of animals, and I want to know if you bring your dog, who's going to clean up after it? How are you going to get your work done when you're caring for your pet? That's a lot of my concern.
So Kathy, for clarification, if we do not approve this, then it goes back, it stays exactly the way it's been for the last 8 years?
Well, Bob, we don't have a policy on pets or animals in the building per se. So maybe if this gets voted down, maybe we would have a policy. Some other policy.
Hold on, too many people
We
talking.
do have a policy because we've had 8 years of previously allowing it to happen, so we do have a policy.
Well, it hasn't been for 8 years, and we do not have a policy.
And I'm saying we do have a policy because we've allowed it for 8 years. So that in itself makes it a policy.
It hasn't been brought to the board it hasn't been brought to the board, and it has not been for 8 years.
It's been for 3 years.
For 3 years. Okay, Dana?
Allowed it to happen.
Well, there's no policy saying it. There was no policy. Dana, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a few things. First off, I was like, oh yes, that would be awesome to have dogs because I know the schools bring in the dogs sometimes for kids and anxiety and kids and different things. And there's been a bunny and there's been a dog and there's been different things. But then after I thought about it, that's what I said, that was my first thought. Then I started to think about it. And here's my thoughts. Allergies, like Candy said. I know some people who can't walk into a building or even into a friend's house because of allergies. We are a public business. We're not just a private business. We are public, so we have people coming in all the time. Are you going to put residents who could have major allergies over pets? Two, what if I bring my dog and someone else brings their cat because it just says pet, and my dog and cat get into a fight? My dog and someone's cat. Or what kind of pets are you going to allow? Is someone going to bring in their pet snake? There's different things here when it just says pet. So I think I agree that we should not be allowing it because of messes, allergies, and we're not really specifying types of pets. And then are you discriminating if you say only dogs, not cats?
Did anybody else want to chime in on this?
I mean, also new employees,
I
if
think
they're
having
allergic.
a friendly dog in an office. I think having a friendly dog in an office is a plus to the public.
I can't tell you, I will chime in now. I could tell you it probably happened at least 24 times during, because we had the public coming in and paying their taxes. And maybe two, I'm going to say at least 20, maybe 24 is too high, but there were a number of occasions where someone came in and they were going to be cantankerous about the taxes that they had to pay. And when they saw my dog come around the desk, the mood changed and it was better for everyone involved. Okay, period. I understand that some people do not feel comfortable around dogs. I do not, the dog does not leave my office. And I have yet to hear of anybody being allergic to the dog in my office. He does not leave the office. And as far as people coming into our office, right now, especially with COVID, we're even discouraging other employees from the building to come in because it's just that much more spreading of the virus. Possible spreading of the virus, I should say. My staff feels better. They asked, I had to be out the other day and they asked me to leave him behind just because they like having him there. And I kind of feel like it's sour grapes. Well, Scott gets away with it, so why can't everybody? Well, I'm just in charge of the treasurer's department, okay? I'm not here to speak for the other departments. That's up to the other department heads what they decide to allow. That's it.
Okay, we're going to go to Chris and then come back to you, Dana.
Okay, a couple of things. Scott, you weren't the first one. I do believe, well, in fact, I do know that the person before you, she had her dog in when it was a pup. And the bottom line is if you have your dog in, I have no problem with that. And third thing is this, okay? It is a known factor, okay, that pets are therapeutic when we're in this climate in America nowadays. They are psychologically therapeutic. They are psychologically soothing, like Bob said. Like Scott has said, and I agree with you guys. Okay, so that's my point.
Dana?
I agree. They're totally therapeutic. But so, Scott, when you're interviewing people, are you asking if they're allergic to a dog? Because that could happen where then, I mean, are you going to give up a good candidate, or are we going to risk some residents' health because we have a dog? And don't get me wrong, Scott, your dog is awesome. I love your dog, but that doesn't mean the next person's dog we're going to love and think is awesome.
That's why it needs to be up to the department head. And no, I would have kept my dog home if I could get an excellent person in that office. That's what comes first. There's no question about that. So if the person that I picked was allergic or just didn't even like dogs, the dog would stay home. I mean, it's that.
But what about the
I don't believe
what about
that.
the other departments though that you have to work with.
That, like I said, that needs to, in my opinion, that needs to be up to the department heads, because it's not only just saying yes or no, it's how well is the dog behaved? How well does it act around other people? You can't just, it can't just be a yes or no on in some kind of motion tonight. It has to be left up to department heads, because every situation is going to be different.
I disagree.
And
Scott, you're more generous than I am. I'd rather have a dog than a person.
Yeah, but you have to process all the taxes, though. Either it has to get done.
All right,
Yeah.
I was in favor of doing this until I read the response from MMRMA, and I just want to read it to everybody so you understand what it's saying. It's as far as bringing pets to work is concerned, in order to best protect the township from liability associated with animal bite incidences, allergic reaction incidences, etc., best practices would suggest that the township does not allow animals in the workplace. If the township is sued because of such incidences, the township's loss ratio could be affected, and ultimately the annual contribution could go up due to loss activity. There's also the possibility of property damage from pet feces, urine, chewing of property, etc. Lastly, there's also the exposure of conflicts within the workplace where some employees may not be comfortable working in the environment that includes pets. Again, it is not recommended that the township allow pets, animals in the workplace. And then contact them if we had further questions. So, and it sounds like some people are in favor of Scott's dogs, but I think, and he's a nice dog, it's just that who's going to determine which pets can come to work and which pets can't, and which ones would be potential liability and which ones can't.
I'll repeat myself. The department heads to the public they couldn't be bitten by my dog because they're not allowed in the office. I kind of view this as a sour grapes. If Scott can do it, then why can't we? And if we're going to have that vote, then I think we should do it with the new board, because I just kind of feel like this is sour grapes of some people, some of the outgoing board, and I don't much care for it.
If you're referring to me, I think
my opinion as far as the insurance company goes.
Wait, hold on a second, one person at a time. Clerk Allen. Hold on, Clerk Allen, please.
I hope Scott doesn't feel it's me that's being sour grapes here. I truly believe employees are not going to do their job if they have their pets at their desk all day. And I do have allergies, so it is what it is.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, as far as the insurance company statement, yes. As far as the insurance company statement goes, that's what insurance companies do. They're trying to limit their exposure to liability. It doesn't matter to them one way or the other whether it's beneficial for the employees or not. They could care less. They're concerned about their bottom dollar. So 2 key words in his statement was suggested and preference. So they're not saying don't do it. They're making a recommendation. I think very little of insurance companies because they're just looking to go their own bottom dollar. Again, I agree with Scott. Let the department head make the decision.
Just to respond to that, Bob, the insurance company is us. We're a pooled member, and they're looking out for our liability, not theirs, because we are part owner of the insurance company. Dana.
Yes, I get that, but you have an attorney making a statement. Go ahead, Dana. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay, Bob. I've interrupted people before, so it can happen to me. I was going to say, actually, until I read the email from the insurance company, I was okay with it, but then that started to bring up things to me like my brother doesn't even want to come into my house because of my dog, his allergies. So I just think that you're the treasurer's office or the clerk's office or the building department or the rec department, people are coming up to your windows. We had a guy draw a picture for my father-in-law for Christmas, and my dog, I don't know if any of you guys have seen my dog, but he's little. He's like 15 pounds. And he's the littlest dog ever, kindest dog ever. The guy came to our door and the dog was barking, and the guy and he's a grown adult, and he basically had to leave. He couldn't even be on my property because my dog was barking. So that concerns me when we are a public entity, governmental, for our residents and for our taxpayers. If he is one of our residents, he will not want to come into that office because he couldn't have left here any quicker than handing off the picture that he drew for us.
Well,
Jason, you've been very quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. You won't see my dogs there because they're idiots, but I mean, but I've been in Scott's office with his dog, and his dog is very calm. But you know, how do you determine between dogs? I get that point too. But Scott's office is like 20 feet from the desk, and his dog doesn't even leave his office. So the people are 20 feet away, outside of locked doors, on the other side of a desk. There's no risk of anybody getting attacked by a dog in that fashion.
That's Scott's dog. What about now? Scott brings his dog. I'm in the clerk's office.
I said Scott's dog, but that's any dog. No dog can get out of that to get
right,
to.
But I'm just saying, if you let Scott do it again.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with it.
Does someone want to make the motion?
But so you're saying this though. You're saying it can only be on that day, so it can only be on Fridays or whatever your casual day is.
Right. Well, and the reason I picked that is because everybody is dressing in nice clothes most of the other time, and if you've got pets around, they can mess up your clothes. So I just thought casual day would be a good day to do it.
Well, I mean, here's another thing. Anybody that has dogs knows dog hair gets all over you. So whether Scott's dog is in there or not, Scott's a dog person, and there's going to be dog hair all over his office anyway.
Here's my next thing, though. It still says cat.
I'm a dog person too, Jason, but I don't have dog hair all over my office. But if I brought in my dog,
you have more in there than you know about.
It'd be okay.
I bet you have more in there than you know.
Well, here's an interesting little conundrum, and that is the fact that on one hand you're saying, well, the insurance company says you shouldn't have the dogs there, but in your policy you're saying, oh, but it's okay one day a week. It's inconsistent.
Yeah.
So if you're allowing one day a week, why not allow them the other days too?
So what if I want to bring my pet goat?
You know,
what if what?
Is he well mannered?
Jeez.
Well, you're not in the office on casual day, I would imagine, very often, Dana.
Okay, a different employee. Sorry, Jason. I'm just pretending.
Yeah, we've taken a good thing, and that is having my dog in there, and turned it into how many different ways can we figure out that this is a bad idea, and yet somehow for the past 3 some years, it's worked out just fine, you know, and it seems like.
I'm not in the office. I didn't realize Terry had her dog there all the time. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Scott, as I said, I think it's therapeutic. I think your dog is great, but you've got to think about our residents. We're not a private company.
And if you could have seen, and now I can say it'll be in the hundreds of people who loved seeing my dog there. I didn't hear one complaint from a resident at all. Period. And even if I did hear one complaint,
we're making much ado about anything here.
I'm not going to cater down to the least common denominator in the township. I'm tired of that thought process of, well, if one person doesn't like it, then we can't do it. That's not the way the real world works either.
What about the other 13 people that work in this building, and they all are going to bring a pet? You don't think that's going to cause an issue?
I didn't say that. I said it should be up to the department heads on who brings in an animal to the office. And they can decide for themselves if that animal is well behaved or not.
If it's in the policy, it's not per department, it's for everybody.
There is no policy.
Well, let's keep it out of the policy.
Right, that's the alternative. You don't put this in the policy, and then there's nothing there that says yes or no.
There you go.
Yeah. This is much ado about nothing. We've gone at least 3 years with a dog in that office. Nobody's had a problem. Nobody's raised a stink about it. Nobody's had issues. Why bring it up now?
Exactly.
We're continuing on with exactly the way things have been done for the last 3 years.
When are you going to let all the kids come to work? That's going to be the next thing.
Up to the department head.
Kids, grandkids, the neighbors will end up being a daycare and a dog pound.
Well, does anybody
Okay,
want to
so
make
what
a
do we-
motion? Because I'm not.
Not either.
Okay, so that's my question. What do we want to do with this? Does anybody want to make the motion that's suggested?
Not me.
What is the motion?
The motion is to
On
amend
your sheet.
4.5 Township Dress Code as presented with the effective date of tomorrow. And that's to allow, the change would be to Township employees will be allowed to bring their pet to work on casual day.
I don't want to make that motion, Kathy.
No, I don't either. I don't want to put it on one day a week. I think Scott is absolutely correct. I do know that, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting her name right now. The previous treasurer.
Terry.
Yes, she had her dog in the office, and I had absolutely no problem with it. I went in the back room where she only allowed the dog to be, and I had no problem with it. So, and that was every day of the week. I gotta believe, and so I'm in favor of that. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say.
But what do we do with the rest of the employees that want to bring their pets? It's going to be up to the supervisor. Yes, Dana.
Have you had other employees ask?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know how this came about, so, okay.
It's up to the department head.
I agree.
Okay, so since no one wants to make this motion, this will fail for lack of interest. Is there any other discussion? Pardon me?
Okay. So what does that mean?
That means that
dies.
It fails for lack of interest. No one wants to make the motion.
Okay. And my question to you is, can Scott continue to bring his dog to work?
We're not
We don't have a policy on whether he can or he can't.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make clear. So he can continue to bring his dog.
But if we want to make a policy or a motion to allow Scott to bring his dog, someone can bring that to the board.
I don't think that's a good idea either, Kathy. Let's just leave it be.
No.
Okay.
I was just answering Chris's question.
Yeah, I know.
So
we're
at this dress code policy amendment. is failing for lack of interest. So we're not going to amend our dress code policy as suggested. If we want to make another policy or whatever, it will have to come to the board unless someone wants to make a motion right now. Offering something else. Okay, I see no one else wanting to make a separate motion, so that concludes our item E, amendment to casual day policy. And we have citizens' comments. So this would be on anything. Are there any citizens that would like to make a comment this evening?
I do, Kathy. Thanks the board for increasing my.
This is Faye. This is Faye.
Yeah.
Okay, Faye, go ahead.
I just want to thank the board for increasing my pay. And I also want to say I've enjoyed working with all the board, and I'm looking forward to working with the new board. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment this evening? Yes, Mr. Dinnan.
Just a comment as per your brief discussion on pets. Clearly, pets are important to people, and more important to some people than others. However, not all people are that friendly with pets. It's unfortunate that we all don't live in a world where we all can see the same things the same way. But the suggestion that we leave it up to the department head, I may have some concerns with. Because I myself, I don't go to the clerk's office and I don't know Scott's dog, but I knew Terry's dog only because there was an occasion, but I just stay out in the hallway. I just don't go in there because I'm not typically a dog person. Clearly, when I'm doing inspections, if there are dogs that are loose, especially dogs I'm unfamiliar with, I'm not even getting out of the truck because I'm not getting bit. So it's unfortunate that the employee that works in the building department had a pet grooming appointment where the pet groomer didn't show up and she brought her dog in, which is the cutest little thing. However, it wasn't too cute when it was sitting at my feet growling at me. Then I didn't think it was all that cute. So I just thought I'd add that in there for you. I guess I wouldn't mind a policy of some way, shape, or form, but I think it's something that you should probably get all of the employees' input into it, and I'll go along with whatever the flow is. But I would really ask you not. Obviously, some of you are not going to be on the board later, and I know there are some in attendance tonight that will be on the board in the future. So I just ask you to keep that in mind if you choose to move forward on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Yes, Mr. Unruh.
Yes, thank you, Supervisor Thurman. I want to Steve Unruh, obviously Brandon Township, and I just want to thank everybody that voted for me. I'm very, very excited to get on this board and work with everybody. I want to thank Clerk Allen. When I did this several years ago, she was very kind in her office was very kind in telling me how to about the election process. They were very thankful. I'm sorry to see her go, but wishing her all the best. Same thing with Mr. Cordella. Thank you for your time, and I hope I don't know what you're gonna do when you get out of here, but thanks. And then all the rest of you guys, I feel sorry for you because you got to put up with me for the next 4 years. And if you can imagine, maybe I may not be Mr. Easy to get along with sometimes. I guess that's what my wife and kids say. So anyway, thanks anyway. It'll be fun. I've met each and one of you on various different things, and I'm going to have a good time. I'm probably the most excited person up there, and I can't wait till get back together instead of doing this Zoom meeting or go-to meeting stuff, because I don't like this at all. So anyway, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you. I'm excited, and see you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Are there any other citizens' comments tonight? Okay, seeing none, let's do board comments. Why don't we start with Mr. Broughton? Do you have anything to say, Scott?
Yeah, just a couple things. One, thank you, Chris. This will be your last regular meeting anyways, so it was good to get to know you. Don't be a stranger. And Candy, this is your last regular meeting as well, and thank you very much for all your years of service. It's not just the 8 years, but all the time before that as well, before you became clerk. And Leslie, and to Kathy as well, even though Kathy will still be on the board, she served as supervisor for 12 years, and I want to thank you for your service there. I think you handled yourself very well over the 12 years, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you, Scott. All right, Bob.
Yeah, same thing. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I'm hoping the whole COVID situation doesn't keep people away from their families and their loved ones. You can't live your life if you're living it scared, so stay with your loved ones and hang tight with them. Candy, thank you very much for your expertise and your years of service. Kathy, I may not always agree with you, but you are one of the hardest working people I know, and I appreciate that. Chris, nice getting to know you. Spent 4 years sitting next to you. Steve, welcome aboard. One other thing I want to discuss, we talked about this earlier before the meeting, is we are in receipt of a letter. I'm not sure who it is. They didn't sign it. They only signed it as a concerned individual. And what this letter is doing is it is attacking one of our hardest working, most dedicated employees in the township. And just the fact that this person did not put their name to it is the most cowardly thing I can possibly imagine. You don't attack somebody and then don't have the cojones to put your name to it so they can respond to it. The only reason I'm addressing it here is not only did this person have the lack of integrity who put his name to a attacking letter, but he also saw fit to send it off to the local newspaper as well. So I'm hoping he's watching this, or the person is watching this, and he will know that I think he's a cowardly POS, and that is not the way things are done. If you believe in something, you put your name to it, and you stand up for it. You don't act like a little weasel and attack people without them having any recourse. That's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Dana? Dana, you're on mute.
I got it. Okay, that's so you guys don't hear my crazy dog bark. Or my kids. Okay, so first off, I'll start with the goodbyes. Chris, it's been great working with you and getting to know you. Thank you for your service and best of luck to you with your endeavors here in Brandon Township. Maybe we'll see you around still at some meetings. Come and give us your opinions.
Thank you.
Candy, thank you so much for your service, not just as clerk, but as when you worked in the different departments. Your family has always been great here in the township, the things you guys have done. I hope to still see you around. I greatly appreciate everything that you've done over the years. Kathy, same to you. I know we'll still be working together, and I know don't always make our lives easy. I don't always make your life easy, but I appreciate everything as supervisor that you've done. You've done great over the past 12 years. I want to say thank you to the veterans this Wednesday. It is Veterans Day. I wanted to again stress that my no vote for the wage increase wasn't against the employees. I truly believe they deserve a wage increase. I just wish we did it when the fire department did it, or that we handled it differently, the way it was presented and knowing what was happening. But I do believe that we needed to do something. I just didn't feel it was the right time also in the middle of this pandemic. Let's see. I wrote a few notes here. I agree with Bob on who wrote the fire letter. It would be nice to know that, and if we are going to address anything, I suggest we do a closed session. That's why I was mentioning a closed session. I didn't know how Bob felt about it. I just know if we're going to talk about it, we should do a closed session. I would like to see in December we discuss the roads like that was mentioned, so I just want to put that out there. I know the budget will be coming then. I will contact you, Candy, to get sworn in. And Kathy, if we could get an update on Sleepy Howl, I'd greatly appreciate that. If not tonight, but an email. I know one was sent last week. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Oh, and welcome, Steve. And Roslyn. Welcome, Roslyn. I see you're on there still, too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dana. Chris.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to everybody on the board, in particular to Candy. You're my neighbor, you're my friend, and your husband's a great, great friend of mine. And I think you've done a wonderful job as clerk. Absolutely fabulous job as a clerk, and you did a fabulous job during this last election. So kudos to you, and also to Supervisor Thurman. Great job under tough circumstances, and I wish you luck in your new job as trustee, and I think you'll do fabulous. And congratulations to everyone. Mr. Unruh, hey, congratulations. I'm glad that you're on, and congratulations to the entire board. You guys are all fabulous. Scott, I've congratulated you guys already, but I'm going to congratulate you guys again. Scott, Roslyn, and of course, our new Superman, Jason Rumble. One other thing I would be remiss in saying, and there's several other things I'd like to say, but the last thing, of course, is I'm a big fan of veterans, and so happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. And God bless you for everything you've done for this country. And you need all the support and all the backing that you should be getting, and then some. So God bless all of you veterans, and God bless you on Veterans Day, and God bless America. Thank you. Bye, all.
Thank you, Chris. Scott?
Yeah, I already spoke, Kathy. We can move on to the next person.
Okay. Andy?
I just want to say that tomorrow from 12 to 1 is a drive-by birthday at the old mill for Kathleen Lease, 102 years old. Still in wonderful physical and mental condition. So just wanted to let you know that. Wednesday, there's also a flag retirement up at the Ortonville Cemetery. The VFW here is going to be doing a salute and taps, and the Boy Scouts will be there to take old flags at 4:30. And I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and best of luck to all of you on the new board. And Chief, thank you for all your support and service over the last 8 years. It's been great. Shelby, you too. See you guys.
What time was that drive-by, Candy?
From 12 to 1.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Candy. I just wanted to say I enjoyed my position as supervisor for the past 12 years. I've really enjoyed this job. I'm going to miss it terribly. But I'll still be here to help things along as a trustee. And I also wanted to thank Chris for his service and Candy for her years of service. And it's just not going to be the same in this building, not seeing Candy's face, because she's been here so long. If it wasn't in the clerk's office, it was in the rec department, and she's just part of Brandon Township, so we're definitely going to miss her. But I do look forward to working with Steve and Roslyn and continue working with Scott and everybody else as well. So,
Yay, Candy.
Just wanted to thank everybody for their input over the years and for all of their help. So that concludes board comments. So now the big time to adjourn the meeting. Who'd like to make the motion?
So moved.
So moved.
I have a motion by Chris Cordella. Who would like to second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a second by Trustee Rumble to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Meeting's adjourned.